Hey, welcome back to my channel, IndieAuthor Jill. And today we are looking at A Race with a Rogue. Um, this was, oh my gosh, I I enjoyed it so much. The It was so nice because Cooper and Maud already have an established relationship. Georgia is Cooper's sister and Maud's best friend, and the two families kind of just grew up together. But his best friend is Leo, and they were basically next door neighbors. And his best friend married his Cooper's best friend Leo married Georgia, Cooper's sister. Um, and but Maud has always been best friends with Georgia, so she was always around the house hanging out with Georgia, and that's how she got to know Cooper. And Cooper originally had this kind of big brother kind of thing with Maud and Georgia. It wasn't just Georgia that he was protective as a sister to, it was also that extended to Maud too. And so she's being courted by Tom Tom Shaw, and where was it? Okay. But Maud immediately, throughout the entire book, Maud's character just is that none of their characters, the characterization is so consistent, and there's not a it's kind of a friends to lovers type situation. But anyway, Maud is being courted by Tom Shaw, I believe. I kept calling him Shaw because she kept calling him Mr. Shaw as a Toby. Yeah, okay. I She kept calling him like I said, she was being courted by Tobias, and she thought they were on the same page because he's in politics and everything, and he's running to take his father's seat. um and um he was running on with women's suffrage as part of his platform, and then he just suddenly took it off, and he's like, oh, it's a political move, it's just a strategic political move. And she's like, yeah, no bueno, I don't like that. And she's like, that is the most important thing to me right now. And she's explaining to him, she's, I don't understand where you're coming from. I get that it's a political move, but it's a stupid political move, and it makes me question your values. And so, they go back and forth, and this guy actually has the audacity, after ticking her off and her basically telling him in no uncertain terms, you bring that back or else, he still tries to propose to her. And she's like, are you high right now? No. And so he keeps calling her Maudie, and she's like, don't call me Maudie. We're no longer, you're no longer entitled to that familiarity, Mr. Shaw. And so she insists on calling him Mr. Shaw anytime she's around him. She refuses to use his Christian name. And so, and I'm totally on board with her. So I was like, yeah, Mr. Shaw. So for some reason, I don't know why I kept thinking his name was Tom, but yeah, it's Tobias. Um, but this gets out, there's the Burger family, and they are the rumor mill. There's so many kids and grandkids and cousins and whatnot that they hear and repeat everything. And so if it comes from a burger, you can count it as gospel. And so, of course, the Burger family quickly hears about this because the Burger family is also close with Maudie and her family. And so they quickly let everybody know. She has sisters and brothers, and or she has a brother, Jeremiah, I think. Yeah, Jeremiah. And um, he, I there's so many characters to get to that I loved I love them so much. So, um, focus, Joe. Okay, so um, while I'm trying to get my thoughts in order, like, subscribe, and comment telling me to just breathe. But anyway, so yeah, word gets around that she has denied his, refused his proposal. So two other guys who had their eye on her propose to her, and she turns them down just because they are, as she says, dreadfully dull. And in the meantime, her best friend Georgia, her best friend Georgia's brother and husband at the time, Leo, are graduating college, and they're coming home from college to for their graduation party and everything. So there's this graduation party happening, and they've invited everybody except for Mr. Shaw because everybody is on Team Maudie. They love Maudie. They're like, if Maudie coming means that he can't come, then fine. That he won't come. We are perfectly fine leaving him off the invitation list in the guest list in order to make sure that Maudie's comfortable and willing to come. And Cooper finds her out like on the balcony, and he's like, his way of greeting her is, "Do you want me to kill him for you? Like, I'll do it. Seriously, you know." He does end up giving him a black eye. Uh, so for what it's worth, but then he ends up finding out that he can't run for the office that he wanted to because it's in a district that he doesn't live in, and he has been living there, but he's been registered to vote and voting with his old address, because, well, not old address, but like he has two different places of residence, and I believe they're in like Hillcrest or something like that. But he um he decides to run locally because that's where he's qualified to run at. He can't run where he's been living with his father, so because he's been using a different address, so he decides to run um locally. And everybody's like, well, what about the previous, you know, person, I guess. And they're like, no, he's retiring. And they're like, what do you mean he's retiring? He can't retire, then he'll run unopposed. And I was like, yeah, that's the point. And so he um they're trying to come up with anybody who can oppose Tobias, and eventually they land on Cooper. He's the only one that can really do it. And Cooper's like, I'm not a politician. Also, I'm a bit of a philanderer. I have a reputation. It's not going to go over well, you know. And Maudie is like, listen, I have been helping him with his campaign. I know all of his weaknesses. I know how to do this. I can help you." And eventually Cooper does relent, and he's like, "Fine, I will do it, but you have to help me because I can't do this without you." And so the two of them team up to do that, and then they're talking about how to take care of the philandering situation. And the only way to take care of the philandering situation is for him to appear steady and stable in a relationship. And the two of them are such best friends, like they already have an attraction together. Um and they even, you know, kind of explore that attraction now that she is no longer being courted by Tobias, and he has found out that she has refused the proposals of two other guys. He kind of makes his move, and she's like all for it. And she at the party, she's so afraid that she's going to end up being um constantly grabbed, grabbed for attention for a dance or this by these guys who have no substance to them at all. And like she can't have a real conversation with them. So she kind of tries to stick to Cooper as much as possible so that she can talk with him, because he has no problem talking politics with her or world events or anything like that. Um, so the two of them get along really well. They have not just the friendship, but the chemistry and the mutual respect for each other, because she's the only woman, and he even tells her, "You're the only woman I know who is not interested in me for my money or my name." Um, I like what he says. I was actually trying to find the one thing. Yeah, there it was. It was on this page. Because he's the um um eldest son, and there's just him in Georgia, and he comes from a very wealthy family. His grandfather invested heavily in railroad in the railroad. His father made sure to capitalize on that, and um, he talks about how Leo has always been a hopeless romantic, and he says Leo has always been a hopeless romantic and has spent most of his life besotted with my sister. He doesn't excuse me. He doesn't understand my visceral aversion to the kinds of girls one must marry, because no one would use him for his name or his income. He's a better man than I by every manner measure, but he is a third son, a little shy socially, and he's never had much interest in society's games. I, by accident of birth, am quite a prize. And the first time I read that, I just chuckled. Like, Cooper makes me laugh so much throughout this book, because he's just like, he's got so many quips. Um like I said, Georgia is married to Leo, his best friend, and eventually they have a baby on the way throughout this book. And when the baby comes, his mother sends him and his father away, because um they're all hanging out at his mother and father's house. But Leo and Georgia are living in their own home as a married couple. And so his mother, Cooper's mother, who is tending to her daughter with the doctor while she's trying to give birth, sends them away to get the supplies from Georgia's home in the nursery. So they run out, and Cooper is like looking over the list, and he's like, 20 diapers? And he looks up at his dad and he says, "At what point do you just put the kid in the tub and hope for the best?" And I'm like, fair question, honestly. Uh, but his dad very wisely says, "Do not argue with a mother. If she wants 20 diapers, she's getting 20 diapers." And but he is, throughout the entire book, he's got these quips, and him and Maudie's just as quick, and they go back and forth, and they are so brilliant together. And the minor characters, Rebecca Johnson plays so such great attention, not just to the main characters, but all of the minor characters around them. Like, she really makes you um feel connected to this world and these people that uh I think a lot of authors, especially newer authors, they focus so much on the main characters that the secondary characters and the more minor the character is, the more two-dimensional they are. And everybody has such great dimension. Berger is kind of a minor character in this place, and Matthew, and he's such a minor character, but um, the more that every time you see him, you see a little bit, you really see him, and he's one of the few guys, and you get to realize why he is a part of this group, and uh why he is a very, like, common part of this group, because like Leo and like Cooper, he is not interested in an empty-headed woman who wants to agree with everything he says. He is interested in women who have an opinion and who speak their mind and actually tell you how they feel or what they think about different things. And at one point, he does try to make a play for Maudie, but as soon as he realizes that she's not interested in him and that she and Cooper are kind of a tentative couple, he quickly backs off. He has not only respect for the women in his life, but he's also respectful of just everybody. Like, that's one of the reasons why people like him, is because he's just a respectful guy. That he never wants to offend anyone. He never wants to um overstep with anybody. And so, like, if he's interested in a woman, he will make sure his the people closest to him know that he is interested in this woman. And he is willing to accept any advice. He does at one point hedge a little bit when Cooper tries to give him advice. He's like, "Really? You're gonna give me dating advice, Mister? I can't keep a girlfriend, with the exception of Maudie, just because she's too tenacious to let you go." And I love, like I said, I love the way even the minor characters are treated so well, and they're, fleshed out more than what you can typically see in a lot of books. Um, like a lot of even some of these books I've read, like with Elite Memories, I enjoyed Elite Memories, but um because the main character was separated from his friends so quickly, they never really got a chance to be fleshed out, and they were so, like, two-dimensional paper dolls, um that, it's one of the reasons why I'm interested in reading the second book, because according to the author, we will get to see them a little bit more and um get to know them a bit more, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, it was so good. I enjoyed all of the characters. Even Tobias, like, he's not just a cad just for the sake of being a cad. It's just part of his raising, and the beliefs he was raised with. Um, but yeah, as of always, I will leave a link in the description below. Um, I've been so last night when I finished reading this book, um, I laid down and I tossed and turned, and my insomnia would just not leave me alone. So what I ended up doing was I ended up getting up, and uh, I thought about starting the next book, but I wasn't quite sure which one I wanted to start up next from the TBR. Um, but uh, the one of the I decided to kind of like binge watch some YouTube videos, because why not? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. What else am I gonna do, right? So I pulled it up, and this woman came on and she started talking about a reading challenge, and let's see if I can kind of look it up real quick. But it was the 52 book challenge, but it wasn't, it was not. But it was their summer reading program challenge. I think the channel is called 52 Books. Let me just look that up real quick. But yeah, the 52 Book Club. Um and um It was the 52 Book Club's Connections Reading Challenge for the summer. And of course, when I was looking at this, um, I didn't look at when it was posted. And then this morning I got up and looked at it, but um, I thought it would be an interesting reading challenge to try and get into. So I decided that my first book would be A Race with a Rogue. Um, and uh, the second, your first, there's 21 books in the challenge that you have to read, and each one connects to the previous one. And so I decided A Race with a Rogue would be my number one book, my first book, because I had just finished reading it and I hadn't done a review video for it yet. So I figured, you know, I would do that one. The second book is supposed to be shares a word. The next book has to share a word from the title of the previous book. So we had A Race with a Rogue, and I decided to go with A Walk in the Snow, which is one of the books that I plan on putting in doing for the um, Christmas Advent book videos anyway. So, and it was the only one between what's on the TBR and what's available for the Christmas books. This was the only one that fit the prompt. Um, and I'm trying to keep these in with the 100 books that I've got. So, yeah, A Walk in the Snow is going to be my next one. Of course, you won't see the review video for that until December. I'm sorry. Um, the and since you're not going to see the next one for that, I will go ahead and let you know what I've chosen for the third book, because the third book is supposed to be set in the same country of the previous author was from. A Walk in the Snow is written by Brian Joseph Bechtel. He's an American, so um, I chose, I believe, the Twisted Tree in Wonderland is set in America, so I chose that for my third book, and we'll go from there. Um, don't forget to like and subscribe. The Like I said, the in um, link for this book will be in the descriptions below. And while you're down there checking out the link, a question for you guys is um if if you were going to run for any office, whatever, what would be your um what would be on your platform? What would be your ride or die platform thing, the thing you would not compromise on keeping it on your platform? um Let me know in the comments down below. um for me, I asked the question, I didn't even think about it for myself, but I think for me, um it would probably I would definitely want some reform done in the foster care system. Like there's so many kids in the foster care system that just get like fall through the cracks. And I think there just needs to be some better reform of better ways of getting the kids into safer homes and homes where they're treated well. But because that's one thing, is like some of the kids get into foster homes and they're mistreated, and there's a lot of really good people out there that are would be excellent foster parents. um I, the whole um children's social service needs to be fixed, in my opinion. Not just foster care, but adoptions and whatnot. So I would probably want that reformed. That would be mine. My campaign would definitely be child centric. So, um, tell me what you guys think below, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.